It's time to take a break from fasting when this happens. Now, it's okay to take a little bit of a break. It doesn't mean that you're abandoning fasting. It means you're trying to maximize the effect of it and get the maximum benefit from fasting. So a lot of times when we fast, we get adjusted to it and we no longer feel hungry. I'm sure you've experienced that, right? Where it's like, I don't even need breakfast anymore. I don't even need lunch. I could just keep fasting. I could just keep fasting. That's not necessarily the goal. It does help us out in a lot of ways, but once we start getting so far to the point where we're not hungry when we fast anymore, that's when it's time to take a break. But I have practical solutions for you, because it'd be easy to watch this video and say, oh, okay, I got what I needed out of it, but that's it. But I want to be able to provide some more context and also practical solutions for you, not to mention science. So when ghrelin, the hunger hormone, is elevated during a fast, that's when we get a lot of benefits. Believe it or not, this hunger hormone, ghrelin, is what drives a lot of benefits. It drives the growth hormone response. It drives autophagy. So if we start fasting so much that we are no longer hungry during a fast, we're actually not getting as much benefit with the fast. Now, it's another scenario altogether if fasting is just easy and a lifestyle for you. So by all means, you shouldn't just abandon fasting. But you might want to consider, hey, maybe I'll take a week off. And here's how you know it's time to take that break. If you start fasting and you get up in the morning and you realize, wow, I'm not hungry at all. That's one thing. But then as the day goes on, if lunch starts to come around and you're not hungry anymore, still, that's a problem, okay? But it gets even worse. If you start recognizing that around the same time each day, your body starts to get hungry, right around the time that you would break your fast, that's a good indicator that your body has started to develop an adaptation and a circadian cue along with that. So that means you're no longer hungry until your body knows it's time to eat. What that is telling you is that your body has totally adapted to the fast so much that it even knows when to make you hungry, because in an anticipatory fashion, it recognizes this is when you normally eat. It's kind of cool because the body's that smart, but it also means that you've really gotten your body adapted. So you take 2 or 3 days off and try it again. And if it still didn't work, if that still same thing happened, then you want to take about a week off. So here's the thing, you want to be able to take enough of a break from fasting so that when you do fast, you're hungry. Remember that being hungry means that you're typically burning fat. Being hungry in a controlled fashion typically means that you're getting a brain benefit through synaptic density. Being a little bit hungry typically means that you're driving up autophagy. We want this hunger response. So what do you eat? What do you do when you're not fasting to try to make sure that when you do fast, you're hungry? Well, you want to take a little time off from fasting and actually eat a little bit more. I don't recommend you eat garbage. Please don't. I recommend that you eat controlled amounts of food, high amounts of veggies, high amounts of controlled protein, high amounts of controlled fat, but just increase what you would normally eat, and hear me out on this, by about 10%. Okay? And you try this for a couple of days and then go back to fasting. And then if it still didn't work, you go back and you increase those calories a little bit and you do that for a week. The simple answer is that every single person is going to have a different response to when they're ready to get the benefit from fasting again. Do you still get a benefit from fasting if you're not hungry? Absolutely. You still get a caloric restriction effect, you still get a mitochondrial biogenesis effect, you still get autophagy, but you're not getting the same amount as you would as if it was a shock to your body. So it's time to take a break from fasting when you're not getting this benefit anymore. Now let's talk specifically what you can eat during your off periods of time. And I popped a link down below for Thrive Market, which has a lot of the different foods that I'm talking about. It's an online grocery store. So that link down below will save you 25% off your entire grocery order. Okay, so whatever you order through Thrive, 25% off, and then it's shipped to your doorstep. You get it in a couple of days. That easy. So the kinds of foods that I'm going to talk about are things that you can get through Thrive and things that are going to allow you to eat more when you're not fasting, so fasting is more powerful for you. So again, that link is in the top line of the description. You can sort by diet type. You can check out the foods that I would typically eat. It's super easy. Link down below. What I don't think you should eat during your time away from fasting, a bunch of higher glycemic carbohydrates. So here's what's going on. If you have really been fasting a lot, possibly every day, possibly every other day, or whatever, just enough to overdo it, well, your insulin levels are probably pretty low to begin with, which is a decent thing, it's a good thing, but you're also putting yourself in a prime situation to rebound negatively from excess carbohydrates. A lot of times your glucose tolerance can decrease. So when you do have carbohydrates, your body might know how to process them properly. Now, when that happens, it can make you feel brain foggy, it can make you feel lethargic, it can make you feel extra hungry. So what I would recommend that you do is during these time periods away from fasting, eat more food than you normally would, but the lion's share of that food should come from protein and it should come from good quality fats. So just to list off some of the foods that I increase when I take time off from fasting, just so that I don't overdo the wrong thing. I eat a lot more protein. I eat more red meat when I'm not fasting than I ordinarily would, because I feel like it's a time for me to get a fattier food in, a little more calories. So I grant myself a little bit of slack by going a little bit heavier on the ground beef and things like that. The fats that I choose, I almost invariably eat more in the way of macadamia nuts. I eat a lot of sacha inchi seeds because I try to increase fiber. I eat a lot of different olive oils, like different kinds, different ages, different types, just because I like to vary it up. So I increase my calories with these controlled kind of fats. And then I eat occasional peely nuts to get some more saturated fat and things like that. So I'm always kind of varying, but it's always in this sort of Mediterranean sphere of how I increase my calories. And that's very, very important because I don't want to just gain fat or gain weight in this period. I want to elevate my metabolism, improve insulin sensitivity. And then if you are going to consume carbohydrates, some of the carbohydrates I recommend you consume are going to be things like purple sweet potatoes. I love purple sweet potatoes. I get them by the bag at Trader Joe's. The deeper the purple, the more anthocyanins, the more antioxidants, and the less the carbohydrate impact on your body. Also, when you are fasting, you decrease the size of your microbiome a little bit because you're not eating as much. So this is your time when you're taking a break from fasting to diversify your microbiome. So this is the time where you might want to increase your fiber and expose your body to a few more different foods to diversify that microbiome a little bit more, right? You can also take a probiotic during this time and kind of help with that. So any of these things that diversify and help expand your gut, get more fiber, get more fats, get more protein, it's going to make it so that when you do go back to fasting, your metabolism is raging and ready to rock, and you're going to get the benefit from it again. Remember, we're trying to do this for a long time. We're not just trying to lose weight, hit it, and quit it. We're trying to make it last so that we get this long tail effect. As always, keep it locked in here on my channel. I'll see you tomorrow.